Hello, everyone. So this is my presentation for the visual assignment for the class. My topic is regarding algorithms and how they work. That's, let's say, the article I grabbed from online regarding to, let's say, how algorithms are working and how, let's say, influential they are towards like the workplace, how they're taking, let's say, control or more, a lot of influence into, let's say, current job market, especially for, let's say, software engineers, which my degree is about. It's a computer science, so bachelor's in computer science. So let's say the article is basically about how AI is basically fueling or taking a lot of the capacity of what they think it would be the basic components or the subwork of computer science or software engineers doing, let's say, all the groundwork, all the preliminary work, which would probably limit the demand needed for software engineers. So let me here share you the pamphlet I created for this visual presentation. One second. Okay, as you're here seeing the pamphlet, I decided to describe for, let's say, for the class, the first step of, let's say, not really from software engineering, but the most important thing right now, what is taking control of the market, especially the software engineering market, is algorithms, the AI algorithms. So how it works. So just to give here a subsurface of what it is, how it works, so that everyone understands what is this, let's say, speculative or idea that's basically going through all the headlines in corporate America today, saying, "Oh, AI is doing this, AI is doing that." Um, San Francisco, Silicon Valley, AI is basically empowering over there. This company is being fueled by AI right now. Nasdaq is being fueled by the, let's say, the AI craze. So just understand where all, let's say, all of this is coming from. Let's start with the basics, which is what it is and how it works. So AI basically is a program created by the user, and it starts first with data collection, as you see here in the first slide, data collection, pre-processing, and then training the algorithm, testing and optimization, and making predictions, which is inference. So from that is we collect data and then we pre-process it. So we organize it, we give it a purpose, then we train the algorithm, which is basically just um, the repetition. It trains itself basically because we create the code itself and then it repurposes itself with that code and just runs it multiple times in what we call loops. And then from there, it learns, let's say, what it needs to do. And then from there is what we do is called testing optimization. So it is learning from itself to create, let's say, a better program. And then from there, it's able to make decisions, which is what we call predictions. We'll see here what data fuels AI is anything data worthy. So there's numbers, there's documents, there's pages, there's video notes, anything that can grab from the web that we see here, pictures, whatever. The AI grabs that. And then from there, it infers and makes decisions, predictions, or even gives ideas, stuff that we all understand completely, which could be Claude, um, ChatGPT. So basically, when we go into the app, we give it a idea, a question, something that we need. Sometimes we even upload a picture, something. So we're giving it data, something that we need for it to infer, and then it gives us either a decision, prediction, or an idea based on what we give it. So how A agent works. First, it learns. So it learns from the data collected, which is the code given by the engineer, which would be me. I implement the code onto the program, so I create, let's say, the AI from scratch. This is what we call machine learning, and reinforcement learning. AI, which is the program, it learns from the user. So basically, this is the first step. It's learning, we're creating the code. It's the first steps of, let's say, making a system of AI. From there, once the code is being done, we go to what it is that the AI does. It perceives. It perceives with NLP, which is natural language processing, and computer vision. It perceives the prompt, which is the task. So that's what we're writing the code, the task at hand that we need for it to complete, where let's say decision we need. And then the NLP allows the machine to understand and create human language. So that's what it is, natural language processing. It's language for the computer to understand that how to incorporate, understand human language into data. That's what basically it is. And then we also have the computer vision allows it to perceive, which is computer vision. And then from there, once it actually perceives the data given, we go into reasoning. The process uses decision making and inference from what it learned and perceived. It plans based on the data collected and then makes a decision. So based on what it collected from here on, let's say the data per given, and then from the code that we wrote from the prompt, it starts making reasoning from all that, let's say, data decisions and everything. So it goes from there to the final step, which is an action. So from the reasoning it took, like when you put like on Claude, it's thinking, it's going through the code, it's processing it from, let's say, the data given. It finally at the end is when it gives you an action. The final action is executing the task. And here's also another way of how AI works. AI learns from the user, which is the coder, which would be me from their inputs. Inputs is data given. Like I said before, it could be PDF, it could be files, PDF files, pictures, voice memos, anything that you can grab from the internet. All that is inputs, stuff that we're giving the AI, the program itself, to learn, to give an inference from, to actually give us a decision. And the code will be the input also. It collects all the data given, learns and perceives from what it is given and the task given from the user. And then it trains itself through repetition, as we see here was one of the steps, training the algorithm. Through that, training itself is what gives the AI, let's say, understanding of what it needs to do. And then from here, the AI, after all this and processing data given, it gives us the output. From the inputs, it creates the output. The action on the decision given, as what we see here from the reasoning, it gives us the action. It learns from the engineer to write the code they created. And in a rinse and repeat situation, that's what it does. It from the training, rinse and repeat, and understands, and that's how the AI gets smarter from learning from all, let's say, the processes it does on a recurring basis. And that's how sometimes it can give better action at the end because it learns from, let's say, from what it gives. And basically, this is my presentation to you guys as to, let's say, the preliminary work of how AI algorithms work. At the end, they do go a little bit more in depth, and they give us it gets more complex because AI is very complex idea and situation right now, and very important in the job market. So as we see here, this is how, let's say, the first steps are for understanding, for you guys to understand how, let's say, the craze of AI is going for you guys to see. If you guys have any more questions regarding the presentation or any of the information given, by all means, give me a note, send me a message. I'll be free to answer any questions that you guys have. Thank you.